0 points, 2 managers gone and out the door. Welcome back to Where North End Walk. Is this turning into the most farcical start to a season that Preston North End have ever seen? Here to discuss that and where on earth we go next, we've got our fans in place. Welcome to the most comprehensive and quickest review on the internet of all things Preston North End. This is Where the North End Walk. Welcome back, Ash, Etienne, and joining our team for the first time this week is Harvey. You're all very welcome. I'm sure you've got lots to get off your chest, including the Swansea result and managers. We'll go quickly through the Swansea results because, of course, it's been put to bed already by the manager walking out at the end of that game as well. Harvey, we'll come to you as you're new. Welcome to the channel. What was your view on it? Game itself.
Well, I think Swansea just dominated the whole game. Really, I think we looked quite lacklustre from the beginning. I think there was very open periods from Swansea, and I think they deserved all the 3 points. Obviously, there was a few chances. I think Robbie Brady had a 1-on-1, missed that. Obviously, really poor from him, and it just seemed like throughout the game, you just couldn't really see Preston getting a goal, getting a chance, or anything like that. I just think we were just very stuck, and that seems to be like a repeated occurrence for Preston at the minute.
Were there any positives, Harvey, at all? Any players stood out for you?
I think the only one I can think of at the minute is just Stefan Theddarson. I just think he seems to be the only midfielder at the minute who is actually willing to challenge defenders. Actually run forward with the ball. And I hope that he can have a really good season going forward.
Okay, Etienne, you're a football writer by trade, so writing about Preston probably isn't taking you very long at the moment. We'll come on to the manager's view in a second, but what do you make of the shambles of what's going on at your club at the moment? Another manager walking out. Here we are in limbo. Is this embarrassing for the club?
It's beginning to look like that. You never want a manager walking out because everyone just goes, well, why didn't he do it at the start of pre-season? It just makes us look like an absolute joke. And then a caretaker manager walks out just literally 2 games later. He won in the cup. He was like, I want to give Peter Risdale something to challenge about. And he loses 3-0. He walks out an hour later. So it really does not look good for us at all. I mean, it just looks like we can't make our mind up. Really unprepared. A lot of people will now go, they're expected to see us in the bottom of 3 come the end of the season, and it's just not a good look for us.
We spoke last week, Ash, about who we want in next. The bookmakers, I think, are now stopping taking bets on this because Heckingbottom looks to be the man that's coming in. What have you heard? And most importantly, would you be happy with that?
So I've heard it's done, right? Apparently it's done, just waiting an announcement. Initially wasn't massively excited about it, but the more I've read about him today, the more I'm looking forward to it. To be honest, I think he probably is the right guy for right now.
There were 2 ways they could have gone, couldn't they? You could have gone like Etienne's way and got the Lincoln manager and got somebody untested in the league, but actually, is it fair to say now's not the right time for that kind of appointment? You just need somebody who now understands the league, can get this together as a team again and get them playing decent-ish football.
I don't think it is. I think we should have just gone all out and got the right guy for the future. I mean, that could turn out to be Heckingbottom. You never know. But I'd have been happy with someone that would have played progressive, exciting football. I just feel like the past 3 years we've been starved of any excitement. So that's the one reason I'm a bit disappointed. But, he could be the right guy and he could do what he did at Sheffield United. So I guess we'll see.
It didn't work out so well at Leeds, did it? Harvey, what's your view on this appointment if it was to come to pass?
Well, yeah, I think I share the same view as Ash. Obviously, given the announcement, I wasn't overly excited. There was many shouts for Brian Barry Murphy, who I think I would have happily taken. Obviously, that's more of a long-term idea, but I think Preston aren't willing to take a risk, which obviously shows a lot. But obviously, you have to look at how he did quite well with Sheffield United. I think obviously he does share similar patterns to the previous manager with the formations and stuff. But I think at the end of the day, it's a new manager coming into your club, and you've just got to give him the chance, haven't you?
Yeah. Etienne, what do you say to these people that say, well, he did well with Sheffield United, but he was backed financially there quite significantly in some quarters as well. He's not going to get the same backing from Mr. Ridsdale, is he?
No, not at all. But I mean, I think with some of the players he's had at Sheffield United, he managed to get a lot of their veterans still managed to put out the same performances. He did well with what he had. I think in the Championship, he'd get a bit less backing, quite significantly, and he still did really well. I mean, look what he turned Dillerman and Die into, for example, turned him into an absolute prospect. I'm really happy with the appointment personally. I think as much as you want to go with the risk of Brian Barry Murphy, bringing someone who's got experience with promotion, he's got a bit of tactical flexibility, but he's also got a tactic which our team's already kind of based around. I'm quite happy with the appointment personally.
Okay. Probably just as importantly, that window slams shut in 10 days. 10 days time, Ash. This squad, for me, this squad is still too good to go down. I think. But what do you need to happen in the 10 days we've got left?
I think the squad's as good as last year. I think Brown's a miss, but I think the rest of the squad is as good. We definitely need, especially if we're going to continue with the three centre backs, we need someone that can pass the ball. If not two defenders central, and probably a left back or a left wing back. And it has to be now. You know, we can't be waiting until the last minute. I think we got an international break coming up. Everything needs to be well in place by that point. But yeah, pretty much the whole defence has been a bit of a mess.
Yeah, we're going to look at central defenders in a second. Harvey, we suspect he will be in the job before the Luton game, and will probably be in the dugout for the Luton game. What starting 11 or what changes need to happen for you if you were in charge of that game?
I think I'd look in terms of forward line. I think I'd look at bringing in Osmajic. I just think in terms of if he's to play anything similar, I think you want a player like Osmajic, a player who's quick, likes that ball in behind. He's quite powerful in front of goal as long as he can stay on side. And I don't want to see Ryan Ledson either. I think, in my personal opinion, I think he's a League One midfielder. I don't really know how he starts for Preston at the minute, to be honest. When you've got like Whiteman, Dawson, Greenwood in there, obviously you want to play him further forward. And again, like Ash said, I think it is mainly bringing in that left-sided player and that defence, because I think that's where we're seriously lacking at the minute.
Okay. Etienne, would you agree with it?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Osmajic, Reece just did not look confident against Swansea at all. I bring Osmajic in just to remind Reece, we've got other strikers, and we saw what Osmajic could do. That Huddersfield game is still fresh in everybody's memory when we were actually going direct and attacking. Ledson shouldn't be starting, I agree, and the sooner we get McCann back, the better. But, I'd be comfortable with the Whiteman for Dawson pairing. And I'd like to see Greenwood get a shot. There was a lot of shouts saying, we should send Greenwood back. He was only on the pitch for 23 minutes or something like that. I'd love to see him get the start again, especially under Heckingbottom, and see what he can do.
You won't like reminding of the stat now, Ash, but it is now 7 games stretching back into last season without a goal, which I think is a new club record. Where are we with the fans in terms of dissent and an understanding of where the club is at? Have we reached the point where there's going to be protests against Ridsdale come the Luton game, or are we just going to park that and see what happens?
I think there's always been a kind of discontent around Ridsdale. Nobody particularly likes him. I guess we see it. I think the weekend will be a fresh slate, and I think it's a case of just getting behind everyone at the weekend. So let's park the Ridsdale hate for now. He does need to manage income better for me. I think that's where we're struggling, is we're not selling any players for any value, and we're not bringing in much income into the club.
Okay. each week on the channel, then, as you know, we reviewed goalkeepers last week. That wasn't a very cheery discussion at all. We are reviewing central defenders this week. Let's have a look at your current list. As you mentioned, you like to play the three, and whether you stick with that will come to pass, I'm sure, against Luton. Etienne, do you think you're kind of done in this area in terms of shopping? This an area where you don't need to strengthen?
No, we definitely need to go and get one or two more, especially within the near future. If you were to ask me, which two or three I want to keep around, I'd only say Lindsay, Watmo, Story at a push. Hughes is definitely aging. For me, getting slower, looks a bit less confident playing that left centre-back role. Bauer, a lot of people wanted to see him stick about. He finally got included back in the matchday squad, but if we bring one or two more in, he's going to find himself in the same position that he was. I think we just need to get him gone, get him playing first-team football somewhere else. But we're definitely not done in the centre-back department.
Ash, if you are going to go to a back four now, what's the strongest pairing here?
For me, Story Lindsay. I'm not sure on the hype on Watmore, to be honest. I've seen a lot of people saying he's probably the best out of them. I don't get that. It would be them too, but also I would be quite content with getting rid of all of them and replacing the lot.
Oh, Ash, I do like your commentary on this. I can't wait to see when you actually win a game what you'd be like. Hopefully, we'll get some positivity. Harvey, are you still there? We might have lost him. Still there. Etienne, Luton come visiting then at the weekend. Oh, he's back. There he is. Luton, can't lose, Luton come visiting this weekend. Etienne, what do you make of them? Would you take a point now?
Yeah, I would take a point. Luton haven't had a very good start to the season. They've got no Kaminsky, which is going to be something that will delight a lot of North End fans. Definitely want to be shooting towards a James Shea that hasn't had any matchday experience in a couple of years. So, I mean, they've got very good players, but they always seem to struggle when they come to Deepdale. Yeah. So I'd like to see that pattern repeat and maybe a win. Maybe we'll actually score for a change.
Yeah, Luton fans aren't looking forward to this one. A new manager coming in, terrible record at Deepdale, second choice goalkeeper in, and their back line is still patchy as well. So, Harvey, you've got a chance here, haven't you?
Well, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? I think if Heckingbottom can come in, work with the lads and implement his style early, I think you've definitely got a chance of beating Luton. Obviously, you look at the squad and it is quite a lot of Championship players which are up to a very good standard, but like you say, like with the likes of a Kaminsky loss, you're looking a bit more confident than you probably would last weekend.
Okay, I'll get a score prediction from you, Ash, shall we then? You pretty good last week at this.
Was it? I didn't even check. I'll go 1-1. I went 1-1 earlier with the Luton fans, so I think I'll have to stick with that. I'd love a win, but I'll stick with a 1-1.
Right, okay. Fair dues. We've got one more record of this to go before the international break. By then, you'll have a manager and all the signings need to be in. If I could ask you now for the most important signing that you need to make, not in terms of names, but in terms of positions, Harvey, that would be to sign a
left wing back.
Etienne,
left wing back.
And Ash,
yeah, left wing back. Yeah, 100%.
Well, if you're watching, Mr. Risdale, you better sort that out. Finally, before we finish, then we're doing the historical look back on all things North End as well. We're asking you, what's the best partnership that you've ever seen in a Preston North End shirt? We understand you've had a lot of good central defenders, but what's the best two together that have understood the game well and worked together well? Whilst these who think about it, please put your comments below as to what you think the right answer to this is. There's been a few. I understand some of you are a lot more youthful than others. So Ash, as the oldest here amongst the Preston fans anyway, what would you say?
Yeah, I'm about to feel ancient here. You might not have heard of these lads. I'm actually stuck. I was thinking about this before, and it's either Yul Moweni and Chris Luchetti or Yul Moweni and Claude Davis. I think Sean Ledger was one of the ones I was considering, but I think the Claude Davis Yul Moweni might be the one for me.
Okay, fair enough then. I estimate both Harvey and Etienne to be of a similar age, so we'll get Etienne first.
I only started going on in 2011, so I've got like the League One and Championship recent centre backs to speak from. And when you asked the Rovers fans the same question, I was like, well, who would I say? And I just can't get Clark and Huntington out of my head. I think I've just got a very good memory of them just being absolutely ridiculous at the back when they played together, especially 14-15, if I'm remembering correctly. Them two were just a wall at the back, and they managed to translate that into the Championship, and they just kept playing together. Whenever they played together, you felt confident that we were going to go and get a result and be able to defend it effectively. And I just can't think of anybody else.
Harvey, that leaves you.
Etienne stole mine, but yeah, Clark and Huntington. Obviously, in that League One season, they were just a brilliant pairing. I think like so many moments between them. You know, Huntington and Clark, especially that Blackpool game. I don't think I'll ever forget that one, to be honest. But I think I'll give a memorable shout to Ben Davies. I think a lot of his time at Preston was very appreciated by most North End fans, and I was quite sad to see him go when he eventually left.
Fair enough. There'll be some older Preston North End fans shouting at their phones or screens now, saying, "What about David Moyes and Ryan Kidd?" So I'll put them in there for you. If you're watching, they've got their names in there. If you can go back any further back than that, Preston fans, put the names in the comments below, and we'll get these lot to comment on it next week. And of course, next week we're talking about right backs and left backs, when we will conclude all our defensive chat on North End, and we'll hopefully be celebrating 3 points and a new manager, and all will be well at Deepdale, or maybe not. For my own sakes, it's fingers crossed. I can't cope with Ash looking like this for another 44 weeks. Cheers, fellas. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week.